I solemnly swear that I am up to no good. Hello everyone, my name is Miranda, and today I am here to review the book that everyone is talking about, and that is Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Parts 1 and 2, a play by John Tiffany, Jack Thorne, and J.K. Rowling. If you've been sleeping under a rock for the last few months, then you might not know what this book is about. This book takes place 19 years after the Battle of Hogwarts and everything, and is catching up with all our favorite friends, Harry, Ron, Hermione, Albus, Scorpius, who is Draco's son, everyone, and this is about Albus's time at Hogwarts, and Albus kind of dealing with the legacy of his father. I don't want to get into any spoilery things for this review. I will have a spoiler talk that I'll leave in the description box down below if you want to check that out. But overall, I was probably one of the few people that was not really looking forward to this book just because A, it's a play, B, it's not even really written by J.K. Rowling, so for that I wasn't like looking forward to it as much, and I don't know, nothing about it screamed like this is going to be fantastic to me, so I went in with really low expectations. And for the most part, nothing really met those expectations. Like, I still say that this isn't great. I really hated it at the beginning, I will say, for probably the first, 200 pages. I just did not like it at all. I felt like this wasn't the characters I was used to reading. This wasn't how I pictured them, how I thought they would be as grown-ups. And especially the children too, like Rose and Albus, were very different than how I expected them to be based on what we had seen in the epilogue, which I know is short, but at the same time you have your assumptions that you make. And for me, I just think the biggest thing is this isn't Harry Potter canon to me. This wasn't written by J.K. Rowling, and I think it definitely, you can tell, a lot of it is stuff we've read before, just reimagined in different ways. We have dialogue from the actual movies that was taken from the actual book. Ginny is a lot more like movie Ginny than book Ginny. Ron is a lot more like movie Ron than book Ron. So for me, this is just someone who is a fan of Harry Potter that wrote this. It's not actually J.K. Rowling writing this to me. I know people will have issue with that because, like, J.K. Rowling, her name is on it, but at the same time, it doesn't feel canon to me. And I've talked to other people about it, and they agree, so I know I'm not the only one in here, that this doesn't feel like a new Harry Potter book. It feels like reading fan fiction written by a Harry Potter fan, and I'm fine with reading it and liking it and taking in what they're saying, but to me, it's not ever going to be something that I'm like, oh yeah, this definitely happened in the Harry Potter universe. Like, it just doesn't mesh with the expectations I had and the thoughts I had that would happen with it, particularly in the character development. Like I said, Rose, who is Hermione and Ron's daughter, she's very different than what I thought she would be, and that's not necessarily a bad thing, but growing up, like, with her parents who they are, I feel like her personality doesn't match with what they would have taught her and what they would have instilled in her. Hugo is kind of non-existent in this book, which I really irritated me, and like I said, this book is mostly about Albus and his whole journey coming into being Harry Potter's son, which I think is a really great thing to pinpoint in this book, because I mean, you're Harry Potter's son, that's obviously something you are struggling with a lot, but I just really wish some of the other relationships would have been developed more. We really don't see any interaction between James and his brother Albus, or Lily and Albus, and these are two kids who are dealing with the exact same thing that Albus is dealing with, maybe in different ways, but they are also Harry Potter's children, so they have that Potter name hanging above them, and you never really see him kind of go to them and be like, how are you struggling with this? How are you dealing with that? And I think it would have been a really sweet moment to see. And I don't know, this book was missing the magic for me, and I think because it's a play, it took me a little while to get used to the way it was set up, but like, you also don't really get to understand the characters as well as you would if this was like an actual for real book that you could read and see everything and get their thoughts and their feelings and their reactions and stuff. Instead, you're just kind of reading how an actor would present it, so I feel like that kind of took away from it as well. Overall, I really like the ending. I think the ending is what saved it for me and brought it back together. It did take me a while to get into this book. I didn't like the characterization. Albus was kind of a whiny brat who I understood what he was going through, but at the same time, like, no, like, at a certain point you gotta stop yourself and be like, dude, someone has to step in here, which would have been a nice moment for James to come in, or even Ron, who was dealing with being the best friend. Like, everyone had these problems, I feel like, that Albus dealt with. Everyone is affected by this Potter name, so I don't know why we were making it seem like Albus is the only one in the entire world dealing with it and kind of ignoring everything else. There was also some victim shaming on parts of people in this book onto Harry, which I really hated. Like I said, overall, I would just say this is just not, it's not a new Harry Potter book. It's not a new J.K. Rowling Harry Potter book. This is fan fiction written by someone other than J.K. Rowling. I don't know how much she had invested in this. I'm sure she gave them the ideas, but overall you can just tell this isn't her. This is someone who read Harry Potter, maybe watched the movies, got an idea, wrote it down, and it's fine, but it's just all the amount of pressure that was put on it and how great it's supposed to be and how long we've been waiting for this and how much money it costs since it's $30. I expected so much more, and I kind of knew it wasn't going to be great, so I feel like that also tapped my expectations, that I was like, it's not going to be great, so I was okay with it not being good. But at the same time, I'm kind of, I don't know, it's just hard for me to describe this book. It's not what I wanted, it's not what I think the characters would be like based on what we've seen of them and based on who they are, and it was just, it's very, I don't know. I feel like maybe if I saw the play, I'd like it a little more, but it's not a Harry Potter book. That's the thing I can say. It's not a J.K. Rowling for reals Harry Potter book, in my opinion. So I ended up giving it 3 out of 5 stars, which is actually pretty good considering the first 200 pages. I was ready to give this 1 out of 5 stars, but I came around eventually. I think it did have a sweet message overall. I just wish we could have seen more character development, more relationship development, like I said, because James, Hugo, Lily, it kind of left to the wayside. Even Ginny and Albus, they have a few moments together, but nothing really. This book is about Albus and Harry, which isn't bad, but I feel like if you're focusing it just on those two, you're acting like Albus and Harry don't have anyone else in their life, and they totally do. They have people that they can go to their problems with. So I just felt overall it wasn't as great as it could have been had J.K. Rowling wrote it as a book by herself and everything. So that's where I'm coming from. But if you have read Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, finished it, whether you loved it, hated it, or were, you know, just iffy towards it, please feel free to leave your thoughts about it down below in the comments, and also make sure you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel down below to be able to make all sorts of new videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!